Hey, welcome back to another episode on our new series, Pro Tips to Live a Dynamic Lifestyle. If you're new to this show, you definitely want to stay for this because we're dropping them every single day and we're giving you guys tips from literally experts and legit pro tips on how to live a dynamic lifestyle, especially in this pandemic and new circumstances and landscape that we're facing. So if you're interested, make sure to subscribe below. Other than that, get ready for this next one.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode on our Pro Tips series on how to live a dynamic lifestyle through this pandemic. So we have the one and only Paul Revelia with us.
Eric, your mic is wrong or something like that.
Really?
Sounds funny. Do you hear that, Paul?
It sounds like you're too close to it almost.
Too close?
Yeah, like you're breathing on it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound normal, man, at all.
Just sounds loud on my end.
Hold on real quick. Let's see.
It sounds like way better even without it.
It sounds better without it?
Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with your mic.
Yeah, it's weird because I could like barely hear you guys as well too. It's like it's normally louder.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, how do I sound now?
Better?
Better?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yep. On my end.
Okay.
You sound like a robot, man, before.
Really?
Yeah, it was funny.
I didn't hear that. It was just bold.
Okay, cool. Let's run it again. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, welcome back to another Pro Tip Series episode on how to live a dynamic lifestyle through this pandemic. So we have the one and only Paul Revelia with us. How you doing, Paul?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time.
Of
And
course.
let's kick this off. I want to just know, like, personally how you're doing, through this. I know you have a family, and more importantly, like, what is some tips or advice that you could advocate to the listeners if they might be struggling right now? And more importantly, how can someone reinvent themselves during this time?
So I'm in a pretty fortunate situation. I made the transition of working from home almost 6-7 years ago. And I also built my own home gym. So I have a fully functional gym at my house. So the things that most people are struggling with, work, gym, I have access to all that. My family and I we're healthy and happy. So couldn't be, in a better position. I wish we had more places to go, but, everyone shares that problem.
Yeah.
The thing that I've been encouraging my clients to do, and anyone that's really struggling during this time, is to set up a schedule for themselves, because all of a sudden we're thrust into a period where it reminds me of like my first semester at college, when all of a sudden no one was telling me what time to be home, what time to get up, what time to do anything. And so you can just catch yourself watching TV too late, sleeping in, doing some weird stuff. Now I have kids and a wife and stuff, so it's a little more difficult, but a lot of people just don't have that structure where they have to be somewhere at a certain time. So creating a schedule where you still set your alarm, you get up, you go through, you do your day, you take a walk, you do some, do what you can to work out, plan some meals, maybe schedule some downtime. That's really what I've seen. And I think honestly at this point, because we're, well over a month into this thing now, most of us have gotten into a routine, and it doesn't feel like such a burden like it did at first.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And is there anything like that you found like that you're doing new, like with your schedule or new routine, like after kind of just being locked down like this, because you can't really go anywhere, you know what I mean, to kill some more time. So you have a little bit more downtime on your hands.
Yeah. Well, the downtime for me is that I'm not traveling, because last weekend, I think 40 weeks I was traveling. Right. So, and it was mostly weekends, going to bodybuilding competitions and fitness expos and things like that. So without that, I've actually found I'm just really much more engaged. My little boy is about to turn 2, my big boy is 6. So they're at that age where, they cannot get enough of my time. So I've been using the weekends for that. I've been helping out around the house with, chores that I probably wouldn't be doing, like, doing some lawn maintenance and house maintenance stuff. And so for me, it's been business as usual, because my work schedule has not slowed down at all. If anything, I've engaged with my company to do more during this time. I feel like this was an opportunity to slingshot the business forward, where we're going to have a little more time to get some work done. So we've started some pretty big projects. We just launched our first ever transformation challenge. My gym's about to open, and I got some other little things in the works. But that's what I've thought of this as. It's like, it's the calm before the storm, because once people are back in the gyms, I just feel like online coaching is going to explode even further.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. We were talking to somebody else yesterday, and like they said that like online training's already exploded like 500% from like where it was from the pandemic. So it's crazy to see. But like, what is your predictions? Just kind of going back into like that contest prep, where is the shows going to be normal? Like, what is your thoughts on that? Because that's what you were kind of doing, was traveling to shows and stuff. So what do you think is going to happen after the aftermath? Are you a fitness professional looking to create more income, impact, influence, and independence? If so, we actually just dropped our new book, Rise of the Fit Pros, so you guys can be on your way to doing all those things, and you can sit there and build your hyper training model. So if you're interested in getting your copy, make sure to click the book or the link right here, and you guys can grab it. Other than that, make sure to enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be on a state-by-state basis. They're going to have to take precautions based on what's going on there. But I think everyone's probably going to be wearing masks. We're probably not going to huddle up with people we don't know. You sit in a bodybuilding show and in an audience, but I have a feeling people are going to be more particular who they sit by. And then there may be some requirements based on, the state of saying, no more than groups of 10 or 15 or whatever it might be, where they have to actually set up seating for that. But I think, bodybuilding as a whole, there will be shows. I expect by late June, maybe early July, that some of the smaller shows will start popping up. All of the big national shows have already rescheduled to November and September and October. So, I think it's just going to be very interesting. And yeah, that's my prediction, is that it's going to go on, but it's going to be a new normal.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, Paul, I want to shift gears here. So let's just say hypothetically, man, you didn't have like your online business that you have right now, and it got wiped out by this pandemic. And my hope for this is just to give the listener some confidence, some momentum, and just how would you rebuild kind of like your online business, with the skill sets you have and the experience you've had from the past years?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably just start doing what I did before, which was, when you love what you do, like going to the gym, working out, people would engage with me one-on-one. They would stop me in the gym. They would ask me questions about my diet, about my training. And so that's really where I've got my earliest clients from, was just engaging with people on message boards, engaging with people in the gym in person. And over time it just became more. The platforms now that I love the most, which I didn't even pay attention to when I first started, like YouTube and Instagram, I didn't really know enough about them. All I used was the bodybuilding.com message boards. I would really, if I had no business and no clients right now, I would be in school getting a PhD. I would put myself in a position to stand out in a crowd. And that's, you can't beat education for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like that. And then just kind of add to that too, what I've been telling people too, is that like, let's say you did take a hit in your business. I mean, what really matters is that foundation you've built over the years, the reputation, treating people right, getting them results. I mean, building your own personal brand and skill set to add value to them. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you have to start from scratch, then it's like you have that whole foundation to do that.
Yeah. And I think that's ultimately like, I've never been a person to live outside of my means. I still live well below my means. So if something terrible were to happen, we'd be fine for a very long time. So I think that's something that I've always taken great pride in, is not living a flashy life where, I'm living month to month. So if I had to start from scratch, whether it comes down to digging ditches, building a new fitness business, or, whatever it is, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I've worked all kinds of jobs, and I love hard work. So
Yeah.
it's not a concern for me.
Love that. So Paul, too, I've been asking, I want to kind of shift gears towards the end of this interview. And I've been asking all of our guests, this particular question. So what do you think the big message is from like the universe, humanity, just with what's going on with this whole pandemic? I'm just really curious to know.
It's different because I'm 44. So I grew up without the internet. And I think maybe it's a good opportunity for us to get outside and get reacquainted with what life can be like if you're not just constantly being attacked by so much information. Because I know personally, like, I don't want to watch the news. It's freaking depressing. And so what I felt like is like, hey, I'm playing Uno with my son. We're going for bike rides every day. So I've been looking at this as like going back to when I was a kid, man. We got outside, we got after it, we had some
Right.
fun. And so I think, from my perspective, the difference is, I've been through some tragedies in my life. I've seen some stuff like this. I remember 9/11 very well. I remember like we were afraid to go in public, people don't remember that that's why you have to take your shoes off at the airport. And so like, when you go through stuff like that, you realize that it just comes in waves. So even when this thing was happening, once I realized like, okay, it's not life or death, it is for a lot of people, but as long as we make the right decisions and keep to ourselves, medicine will come out. We'll get through this. I mean, if you look at the history of the Spanish flu, a very similar timeline in history. A lot of people feel like this is unprecedented. It's never happened. Wrong. Spanish flu was not that long ago, and it was way worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a 4-day incubation period, and the death rate was like through the roof. But I think it's a good opportunity for us to get used to using like technology to get some needs met. Like I've been getting my groceries delivered for a long time, but now you see like these grocery delivery businesses are blowing up. And so I think it's probably going to move our society forward in a lot of ways when it comes to like telemedicine, online platforms. If you look at all the businesses that have their fingers in technology, like I recently saw a Mark Zuckerberg interview where he basically said Facebook's going to come out with a free version of Zoom on their platform.
Yep.
He would have never done that. He was like, wow, all these people are on Zoom. I'm going to make Zoom. So like you look at all the stuff that's going to come out of this. I think it's going to end up being positive, like doctor visits from your house, like not putting people in harm's way that's unnecessary. I think that's going to be the biggest change and shift is like, okay, when we don't need to be face to face, we don't need to be on the road. I'm sure a lot of people, there's a lot of deaths associated with this, but how many people haven't died because they haven't been driving, they haven't been partying, they haven't been flying, like I actually wonder if all toll global deaths are actually down because of this. I mean, maybe that's a ridiculous statement, but it just feels like life is different right now. Like we're just making things simple. So yeah.
Yeah, man, well said. And then even before we hit the record button we were just joking how there's less traffic in LA.
Listen, as much as I love LA for the weather and the people and all the things to do there, when you get off your airplane there and it's 4 miles and it says 39 minutes, like you just want to stab yourself in the leg. Like it's 4 miles to get to downtown. It's 7 miles, and it takes an hour. It's just stupid.
It's pretty stupid.
It wears you down, like going to LA. Like I don't even sometimes.
For sure.
Absolutely.
You just go where you need to go and you stay there. Like if you're going downtown, you stay downtown.
Yeah.
People are like this year at the Fit Expo. I'm glad I went. Thank God I went to the Fit Expo and the Arnold, like all the things that actually I could go to. But the Fit Expo, someone's like, hey, do you want to meet us at Gold's in Venice? I was like, you're out of your damn mind. The round trip to Venice, it's 11 miles. It'll take you 2.5 hours. Like,
yeah.
Ridiculous.
And that's the thing, man, that you can't listen to enough podcasts and audiobooks to get you through that traffic of LA. So well put. Paul, so is there anything we can support you on right now, like us, the listeners that you're working on, and where can we connect with you?
Yeah, when is this coming out?
Say
Today's the 29th.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah, so it'll probably be too late for my transformation challenge. This is my first ever 90-day transformation challenge. We were planning to launch it a little earlier, but we waited with the pandemic. But that's live now. And so that's my first foray into doing something bigger than just coaching people. So I coach people, which is, very small scale. You can only coach so many clients. And so we've expanded. Now I have 11 coaches under the Pro Physique umbrella, but we wanted to impact even more people. So the transformation challenge was that. But
Awesome.
The biggest thing people can do is just, if they're interested in learning more about, nutrition training and all those things, is go to my YouTube, which is Paul Revelia, or the podcast that I do with Lauren Conlon called Redefine Healthy Radio. Those are really my two favorite outlets. And that's it.
Awesome, man. We'll have that all linked up. And then before we sign off, Paul, I just want to commend you. We've known you for a while now and built a good relationship with you. And, thank you again for having us at your beautiful home in Florida, man. And it's just great to see how much you've evolved, how much you've grown. And like you just said earlier, you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, man. And I really respect the hell out of that. So, thank you for just being, honest, humble, and just a good all around guy, man. It means a lot.
Hey man, making a living off of the internet. I mean, it seems probably commonplace to a lot of people, But when I was growing up, the only way you could make a living was getting out and working, like digging ditches. So when people are like, oh, it's such hard work, I'm like, no. Like, I know what working in a restaurant's like. I know what, working on a construction site is like. So as long as I have the option of working hard at a computer with amazing athletes, you better believe I'm not going to take that for granted for a second.
Absolutely, man.
Yep. Well said, man. I echo everything that Chris said too. I'm just glad that you guys are doing well and staying healthy.
Yeah, you guys too. It's good to see everybody doing well. I personally don't know anybody that's been affected. Like I know people that know people, but and that's where I think the disconnect with me is like when you watch the news, you would think it's zombie land going on out there. My neighbor's an ER doctor. Many of my clients are in the medical field, and I just haven't got that sense of desperation that they're portraying on the news in person. So, but I'm still doing my job, staying home, washing my hands, not coughing on people. So.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, thank you again for the time. And until next time, guys.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this video and another episode on pro tips on living a dynamic lifestyle. We truly appreciate it. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. If you're interested in getting more value like this from these pro tips, make sure to subscribe above. We're going to be dropping these daily. Also, if you are a fitness professional and you're looking to create more income, impact, influence, and independence, we just dropped our new book, Rise of the Fit Pros, so you guys can do all of that. You can also start building your hybrid training model with in-person and online training. So make sure to click the link or the book right here to grab your guys' copy, and we'll send it over to you. Other than that, we're out. Talk to you soon.